Hello and welcome to week 2. This week we are going to be looking at different approaches and methods of assessment, as well as technology and how we use technologies to support our learners. It's a heavier week than most weeks, so I wanted to let you know that ahead of time. You want to plan ahead for this week. There's weeks that have that are much lighter, but this week we actually have let me go ahead and jump right to the learning objectives this week. You will be designing a reading assessment checklist, providing a rationale, explaining your pedagogy, developing an instructional plan, and you'll use the text as a guide for that one specific Common Core standard for those specific learners at that level and thinking about who those learners are. You'll also be engaging in a peer review of that checklist. And that's something which is a little bit different than usual. So I'm going to explain how the deadline is slightly different when we do the collective peer review forum. There's also the reflective essay, and this is where you use that reading behaviors that you did from the last week and really think about, how that explains and benefits assessing our own learning behaviors, and as well as highlight big ideas from the week. Again, I really encourage you to look at the rubrics for these assignments before beginning the assignments, because they do ask you to cite your sources and do some additional research. And the last is do some research on the practical and effective ways of using technology in assessing students' learning. So here's what you'll be able to do by the end of the week. Let's talk about how you're going to be doing these. There are 5 resources. This lecture is one of them. You'll be reading chapter 3 in the text, looking at a 2-page article from the Association of the Supervision of Curriculum Development on Common Core and the Whole Child. There is a list of resources that you'll find really helpful to take a peek at. So it's really more for your toolbox, and then 2 short articles in the journal Literacy Today. So what I would do in terms of order of practice is you have 2 discussion forums. One is asking you to post a draft of your professional practice assignment that you're going to be doing with your group. So obviously, in order to do that, you'll notice the due date. So I'm going to quickly go back. By Wednesday, you should have everything read. Next thing you want to jump in on, however, is, even though it's not due till Sunday, you and your group will want to jump in and think about, okay, how do we collectively apply the knowledge and skills this week by developing that reading checklist, right? Developing an assessment reading checklist with the rationale and the instructional plan. So the next thing I recommend doing is with your group, finding the time to work together. It's completely up to you if you want to use the group resources. You could also use Google Docs, you could Zoom, whatever works for you, but come up with a plan and share the process in the group drive. Make sure you reach out sooner than later with each other. Your draft of this professional practice assignment is due on Thursday, and you'll post your draft under the collective forum to get feedback from each other, provide feedback, offer suggestions and resources. These resources, the feedback and suggestions is due by Friday. So you post by Thursday, provide peer feedback by Friday, and that gives you and your team the rest of the weekend to put final touches on it before you actually post your practice by Sunday. In addition to that, you have the regular leadership forum, which is what we'll be doing typically throughout the rest of this course. You'll have your initial post. This is individual. This is not collaborative. It's your take on the different research and ideas of providing technology to assess students' learning. So you're going to be providing 2 examples, posting them separately. So you're actually posting twice, one example of how to use technology to assess students' learning, and then a second example. You'll then respond to 2 posts from other people providing feedback by that Sunday. And then the last is a reflective essay, which is also due Sunday. So you can see that this week is a heavy week, one to get in front of. All right, just a quick, again, an overview. Always you will have your overview, the resource you'll use, and then anything that's actually due. And again, Leadership Forum is due Thursday for your initial post. Respond to your colleagues by Sunday. This one is unique in that you're posting 2 initial posts because you're 2 examples of how you use technology. The collaborative post is the rough draft of your group's professional practice assignment that you post on Thursday. Respond by Friday, which gives you and your team plenty of time to make final touches before you post it on Sunday, along with a brief reflective essay on the process. And I'll click on that really quickly. You'll see that you're looking at, again, considering, take a look at the rubric to start off with, but it's asking you to think about the readings and resources on the importance of formative assessment and checking for understanding. What information and strategies did you find most useful and why? What do you already use? Ideas presented. And then insights you gained by looking at your own reading behaviors last week. So my friends, it's a heavy week this week, again, and get in front of it. Other weeks will not be quite as heavy, but this one really sets us up for the rest of the course. So have a great week. Again, don't hesitate to post questions under the Q&A and support each other. This is a collective experience this week, more so than other weeks. You'll see that half of the assignments really have you working together.